I'd like to share a simple way to repair the standoffs for an RV ladder that was inspired by Kim Moon, who suggested using threaded bolts. I adapted this to an RV ladder as he was installing a single nut into the fork of a bicycle. So in this case, my standoff plate broke, as you can see at the right bottom, and the nut and star-spangled banner that was in there is shown below that. For reference, the star-spangled nut is about 3 centimeters from the head of the screw. You'll need a 10mm spanner and the new star-spangled nuts and bolts that were purchased on Amazon, shown there. Since the standoff, unlike the fork, requires the installation of a nut at both ends, I had to adapt Kim Moon's procedure. The first nut is installed the same way, using a 6mm rod with the star-spangled nut at the one end pointing inwards as shown, and at the other end there's a nut with a series of washers to allow the rod to turn, and as shown over here, a large washer is present that's greater than the diameter of the tube. The first nut can be installed with the 6mm screw, as Kim Moon described, and then the second one is installed using a 1/4 inch thread, as shown here, so that it passes through the first installed star-spangled nut, and then the new one is installed at this end using a series of washers. In the first case, a bolt is just tightened, pulling the star-spangled nut into the tube to a distance of roughly 2 to 3 centimeters. I'm not exactly sure what the optimal measurement is, but in this case, with the second nut and the small screw, a nut and underneath the bolt is used to drive it down, and then the nut beneath the washers here is tightened, pulling the second star-spangled nut into the tube. When it is down as far as you would like, you then unscrew this bolt at the bottom and then unscrew the threaded nut, leaving the two nuts in place. If your end pieces that attach to the ladder are broken, these can also be purchased on Amazon, and I'll provide links to all of these below. I hope this helps. The alternate is to just use the nut and a hammer, but there have been reports that this may not go in straight. And one can also buy a special tool, TPN1, which I'll provide a link below, which is about $25, whereas the 2 sets of threaded bolts and the nuts was about $6. If you're doing this on a bicycle, you will only need the 6mm bolt, and therefore it's probably going to be about $3. I hope this helps. I originally thought of repairing the base plate, welding it or using a series of washers, but two of these with the nut and the star-spangled nut available for $12.95 on Amazon. So decided to replace the base plates and the new bolt. This shows the setup for the smaller thread that goes through the hole of the first inserted star-spangled nut, and it shows a bolt and a screw on the left to keep it secure, and the set of washers at the bottom in the bolt there that you will tighten to pull the star-spangled nut into the tube. Notice that the direction of the nut with respect to the tube is such that the flared up end is out and the more pointy end is in. As you can see here, this is the correct way for it to go in. And here you can see the nut installed, and it's nice and level.